Hey everyone, welcome to Holistic Lifestyle Tips, Getting Real About the Woo Woo. I am Becky Russell, owner of wellness company Hope Essential, and I am a holistic lifestyle educator and an essential oil educator. I just love to teach. And because one of my strengths is responsibility, and another is knowledge, and another is input, and another is connectedness, and empathy. All those things mean I truly feel compelled to share what I've learned on my journey toward wellness and my journey to age with the quality of life. And I refuse to be a victim of my genes, and I don't want anyone else to be that either. So I want to bring you along with me on this natural approach to wellness, which means you're proactive and preventative. And holistic means treating the entire body, mind, body, and soul. And I believe you need to treat from the inside out, get to the root of the cause of your health concern. And when I found essential oils 5 years ago, it just was a natural fit to my holistic approach. I've been doing this for over 25 years, and I feel it served me well because I am not on any daily medications or prescriptions. And at 62, that's pretty amazing in my family. That doesn't typically happen. So I truly believe in what I'm doing, and I just want to share with others and hope it helps others as well. So I came up with the idea about this series. Every week, talk about either emotional wellness, spiritual wellness, or physical wellness. Sometimes the subject uh, covers one category, sometimes two, sometimes all three. And tonight is probably, I would say, all three, because if you tend to worry a lot, that affects all areas of your health. And I want to preface too that when I refer to God or something like that, you can put in whatever you want, universe, um, any higher being, however you think. But I truly feel, faith is something super important, and it helps you get through these hard times. And right now, more than ever, we need to have faith and hope. And so I decided to use the month of July for personal development. And I'm going to talk about, of course, you can see all the sticky notes, one of my very favorite books called You're Late Again, Lord. And it's The Impatient Woman's Guide to God's Timing. And it's by Karon Phillips Goodman. And I ran across this book purely by, accident. If you believe that, I think it's serendipity. But I was at a grocery store of all places where they had one of those little spinning racks near the pharmacy. So I was waiting on my prescription, and this was years ago because I'm not on many now. And I just saw this book, and it just spoke to me because the author has a great sense of humor. So it's not an intimidating read, and it's funny and so real. And I just want to ask you, are you a chronic worrier? Because if you are, it not only is unhealthy, but it truly takes away the joy from your life day to day. And it's one of those things where you're typically worrying about something that hasn't happened and more than likely won't. And so you're thinking about the future, worrying about it, obsessing about it, and then you're missing the joy today. Or you're completely worried about something in the past that you think you've dealt with, but you really haven't, or you wouldn't be worried. Sometimes it's a fear of making the same mistakes as maybe family members, and you're so scared you're going to fall into that pattern or fall back into it, or whatever the worry is. If it's beyond your control to do anything about it, then it's wasted time and energy. But when you're in the midst of it, it is super hard to see all those things. So this book is just a real good reminder about um, how worrying does not serve you. And the other thing I like about the message in this book is a lot of times we think when we say, you know, you just need to have faith and be patient, that we take that to mean being passive, um, just not doing anything. And she has a saying in this book where when you sort of disregard God and you think you know better and you can control a situation, that you usually end up in a quote unquote waiting room, and God will teach you a lesson in there if you allow it. And if you don't learn that lesson, you are put in that waiting room time and time again until you learn that particular lesson. And that's sort of like a timeout for adults. And then when you I know I do this, I tend to get a little cocky when things go smoothly and I'm not completely focused on God being in charge. And then I'll sort of not consciously but subconsciously think I've got this. I don't need to be that focused on God and his plan and his timing. And then of course it blows up in my face. I'm much better about it now. It really is second nature, and I try to pass that lesson along to other people. But this book, I wish there was a referral for it because I know I've either bought how many copies to give to people or told a lot of people about it. And I don't like um, not having choices. And I really love to have action steps. And so I don't know that I'm an impatient person, but I do struggle with control. I've overcome a lot of that as well, but it is in my nature. So another thing I love about this book is one of the things she sort of brings to the surface is, seriously, do you think you have more insight, more experience, more depth, more wisdom than God? And you think you know better and that he should just turn over the reins to you and you'll just take over and do it your way and it'll be the best way and the right way. And that just typically is not true. So I can remember a time when I was at in my 40s, when I was at my physical peak, stronger, had the stamina, uh, was a gym rat and a competitive racquetball player and played rec hockey with my husband. And I mean, I was crushing it physically, but emotionally and spiritually, I wasn't. And I think I was focusing on the physical so that I didn't have to deal with the other two, I thought. And I remember a friend asking me if I was okay. And I just come from the gym and was just feeling pretty good. And I said, yeah, why? And she said, well, you seem very uh, uptight, wound really tight. And I couldn't figure out what she was talking about. But now looking back, I think there was this nervous energy, that worry that just sort of is there. I think I was almost radiating it. And I do know at that point there were times I would almost be hyperventilating in the car driving somewhere with that what if this happens? What if that happens in my playing that game in my head? And fortunately, Dr. Iva, a doctor of Oriental medicine in Plano, Texas, that was basically who I went to as a doctor. And there's a long story attached to that, but if you want to know the details, just reach out to me. But she helped me so much. And I know at one point I was very obsessed with the fear of becoming a diabetic. Not that it's the end of the world, but I just saw the devastation in my family and was scared to death. And every little symptom would just set me over the edge. And I think it's here. It's not just a idle thing, threat. It's here. And it wouldn't be. And she basically taught me, that was the first time I heard about, and remember, this is, you know, over 30 years ago, probably, the idea that what you focus on expands and that you can literally think things into existence like that, your belief. And she said, you have got to stop that. And you're going to make it come true just from your thoughts. And of course, I didn't want that. So that was one of the things that sort of got me on this path of stopping the worry. But so the holistic approach, she told me, gave me a lot of tips, and I did Qigong for a while and had the acupuncture, of course, and other things. But this book was so helpful because what I liked, another thing I liked about it is her thing is the waiting that you do when you're put in that timeout. It's purposeful. It is not just sitting there killing time, waiting for it to be over. You are meant to be working on your relationship with God, the creator, how whatever you call it, and the higher power. And it is not a passive time, but it's also not one that you control. And so when you are reminded that you're not the one in control, that is when you need to start working again. Go back. If you haven't even gotten that far, then of course you have to learn it, but go back and start over and know that it's really an illusion of control if you ever thought you had it. And so to me, it's very empowering when you learn how to not worry. And I can honestly say that that is not my issue anymore. Not that I never worry at all, but when something does come into my brain that is sort of like, oh no, what if, I recognize it immediately because I have that awareness now and I just let it go. And one of my new prayers, daily prayers, is I pray for the highest good for all. And that just fills my heart with joy and gratitude. And it just frees me of expectation, obligation, chasing people, trying to, you know, get them well when it's not their priority and those kind of things. Forcing things with people, whether it's friendships or business, whatever. I pray for what is the highest good for all, and that comforts me. But another thing, another motivating thing for me to learn how not to worry so much is what it did to my relationship with my mother. She and I butt heads a lot on a lot of things, but underneath was love and respect. But she worried, oh, obsessively, and it did not help her. It really hurt her relationships, especially with the kids, I think. Because when you worry like that, you are typically going to be seen as controlling, overprotective, those kind of things. And when you're a young adult, you don't respond, typically, you don't respond well to that. I know I didn't. So it really pushed me away, and I didn't want that for me and my family. So even though I did fall into that trap in my 40s, I did fight my way out. And it is a new habit, fairly new, but I don't automatically worry about things anymore. And it's very liberating, very empowering. So I would love to know, are you a chronic worrier? How does that serve you? And if not, were you ever one? And what helped you stop it? And so, just as always, you can find more information on holistic living on my website, hopeessential.com, and on my business page on Facebook, Hope Essential LLC. I do a lot of education about holistic living and the essential oils, and it's usually just a very positive, uplifting message on there. I would love to see you. You can subscribe to my newsletter on my website. It's once a month. And I am huge on connectedness and, creating a sense of family wherever I go is what I do naturally. So don't be surprised if you end up sort of adopted by me when we meet because I just truly uh, love people and love helping people. So you don't have to be alone on your wellness journey. Just reach out and I'll be glad to help. And I don't have all the answers, but I know a lot of people and I can hopefully connect you to the right person. So till next time, choose you, choose natural, choose now.